Our focus today is on investing in the cannabis industry, and our guest, Ross Gerber of Gerber Kawasaki, who owns cannabis-related assets in his own fund, the Advisor Shares Gerber Kawasaki ETF. Only a year ago, with Joe Biden on the verge of taking the White House, investing in cannabis became the hot topic. Listed cannabis companies, mostly Canadian, and the ETFs that track them soared in anticipation that once Democrats were in control of the White House and then the Senate, legalization at the federal level would allow them to expand rapidly. But these hopes were quickly dashed, especially for holders of funds that track US cannabis companies, many ironically listed in Toronto. It soon became clear that legalization at the federal level was not going to be a top priority for a Congress preoccupied with other, more pressing matters, sending shares sharply lower. As a result, many cannabis-related ETFs and stocks lost money this year, with US ones performing the worst. So let's find out where the market is now with Gerber Kawasaki's Ross Gerber. Ross, in your view, what went wrong?
Well, nothing's gone wrong. In fact, this is presenting an enormous opportunity for investors. And the premise that people were investing in a year ago with Joe Biden's victory is still intact. The reality is the Democrats have just been completely dysfunctional and unable to pass any bills. And they need to pass the budget and the Build America Better plan at some point before they can move on to cannabis. So we're just in a waiting game right now, which I suspect will be over very soon. And then they will move on to legalization. So we are adding to our cannabis positions here, and we're very, very bullish on this opportunity.
But Ross, what if legalization at the federal level is delayed for many more years? Could that change your strategy?
No, because cannabis sales have been really, really enormously strong. And so what we're seeing across the board is states are legalizing. Stores are opening in states like New York, and in New York City soon there will be stores, and the markets are growing like crazy. It's just super hard to operate with the federal and state laws not lining up correctly. So this has to be rectified one way or another because there's so much money involved for so many people, and it's not partisan who makes that money. Republicans and Democrats will both benefit. So we expect something will get done. And even if it's not done, it's still a great business and it will eventually get done. So we're long-term investors, and I think that's the viewpoint you have to have. But this is one of the few areas of the market where there's value, and we're investing in this area now.
Would it not be better to focus on international companies that can take advantage of the legalization trends outside of the US? Do you like any of them?
No, because I think the US market for cannabis is so huge and developed that the opportunity is enormous, where in individual countries, I think each one is difficult and has different rules and laws to operate in. And we're still trying to get it right here in the United States. So I think for companies that are focused, especially the MSOs like Green Thumb and TerraSend and Trulieve or Curaleaf, they're in perfect positions to really massively benefit over the next decade as cannabis legalization in the United States continues. Because remember, even one state like California, the amount of cannabis consumption is larger than probably all the other countries in the world combined.
Finally, Ross, to sum up, 1 year later, how would you position yourself at this point in time, especially if you were an investor that's lost money?
Well, I would be buying the same positions I have, which I just mentioned. And a great way to play it is an ETF called MSOS, the symbol. It's Advisor Shares Cannabis ETF that gives you the exact exposure you want for U.S. cannabis companies. And of course, my ETF, GK Cannabis, is about a 6%, 7% weighting in our fund as well, in the GK fund on the New York Stock Exchange. So there are many ways to play cannabis, whether it's individual stocks, ETFs, or diversified funds like mine. But you definitely want to be in this sector over the next decade as we expect it to grow, not only domestically, but globally at quite a rapid pace.
Ross, thank you. That was Ross Gerber, President and CEO of Gerber Kawasaki.